This episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast is proudly brought to you by Lifetime Decoys. Lifetime Decoys has set the new standard in decoy rigging equipment. Their signature, patent-pending designs use PVC-coated steel cable to prevent rust and corrosion, allow virtually zero line memory, while providing UV resistance and incredible strength and durability. Unlike monofilament, steel cable won't coil up and tangle with other lines because of excessive line memory. Their swivels and clips are made of high-quality stainless steel, and their aluminum ferrules are hydraulically pressed, providing unsurpassed strength. These materials combine to form the strongest, longest-lasting, and most tangle-proof decoy rigging equipment on the market today. They're also the only manufacturer who offers a warranty of 3 years as well as a money-back satisfaction guarantee. Check out Lifetime Decoys today at lifetimedecoys.com. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, episode 90. This week on the show, we're doing our annual gear preview, and we look forward to the new gear that's coming out to the market and maybe some older gear that we're looking to deploy for the first time this season. All right, welcome to the 90th episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. We are your on-demand audio source for all things waterfowl and waterfowl hunting. You can check us out at hpoutdoors.com. You can find us across all the different social media platforms out there. If you're a Facebook user, you can head over to our Facebook listeners group and check out what we got going on there. Lots of good giveaways and stuff happening in there. You can also find us across all the various podcast catchers out there: iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play Store. Pretty much anywhere you can find good quality podcast content, you can find our show. I am your host, Josh Palm, and I'm joined this week, as always, by Dan Harushka. Dan, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Getting after it.
I hear that. Well, we are excited to say that the show this week is brought to you in part by Gunner Kennels. Engineered for your dog, designed for travel, and built for your peace of mind, the G1 Kennel has set the new industry standard and put Gunner Kennels in a category all of its own. Gunner Kennels was started to protect your pet, and it continues to be at the center of everything that they do. Gunner Kennels are dedicated to building the best and safest pet travel crate on the market. Man's best friend deserves man's best kennel. Check out their G1 series of kennels and accessories at www.gunnerkennels.com. Also, we are excited to say that this week's episode is also brought to you in part by Adrenaline, the bird hunting made quick, clean, and humane. The finisher is the alternative to the out-of-date and inhumane technique that can damage or destroy your trophy bird. The finisher has been tested in the field and continues to hold true to its name. The finisher can easily be worn on your lanyard, vest, or jacket. Check out www.adrenaline.com to get yours today. We'd also like to give a special thank you to Camp Chef, Black Rifle Coffee Company, Southern Oak Kennels, Big Al Silhouette Decoys made in the USA, and 737 Duck and Goose Calls. We appreciate all of their support of the show. Also, if you'd like to take advantage of some discounts we've got available, head over to the HP Outdoors website, check out the discounts page, and you can find out how you can save 10% off your order at Dunn Sporting Goods, 15% off your first order with Black Rifle Coffee Company, 10% off of your order with White Rock Decoys, and also get a special discount on a custom HP Outdoors 737 Duck or Goose Call. So definitely head over there, check out the discounts, check out the hats that we have available in the HP store, and just all the stuff that we got going on over there. So, what up, Dan? This is a little bit of a different recording scenario for us. It's Friday morning here, July 6th. Usually don't get to record till late at night during the week, so a little bit different feel for us today.
It is, and I don't know if, I think some of the pollen in the air maybe or something, but a little bit of a scratchy throat, and that and coaching soccer. We had a game last night, and we rocked it. We are the fighting watermelons. The fighting watermelons that everyone in the group made fun of me for. But no, we have a good team. We have, I think, eight players, and 2 of them are boys. And we're still just crushing. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool for sure.
Are your players aware at all of the World Cup festivities that are taking place right now?
Negative. Negative. No, it's still Paw Patrol and whatever else is going on. They're funny. They're
so much Paw Patrol.
They're so much more excited to give high fives than run after the ball. Like if they kick it one time, they just want to come up and give a high five. And I'm like, no, get after it. But we have one girl that, she's a beast. She's fast and dribbles around people and boots the ball. So, but we're still at a level where, we don't play with a goalie unless you elect to.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. It was fun. It was fun.
Cool. Awesome.
But yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about today. Besides gear, I wanted to talk about this summer so far too. And it seems like this summer is the summer of getting stung. Like I've been getting nailed by bees and wasps, and I pulled a tick off me the other day. I'm actually looking at a wasp climbing down the ceiling right now. And kind of creeping me out. But no,
it's funny you mentioned that, because I was at a 4th of July party this week, and 2 kids got stung by bees at the party. And I actually can't remember the last time I was stung by a bee. The whole tick thing is kind of everyday occurrence for us down here in Virginia, especially where I live. We have ticks on us all the time. But I haven't been stung by a bee in a really long time.
No, so I had some poison ivy climbing up one of the trees, and I was weed eating, and went and hit the bottom cord a little bit with the weed whacker, and thinking it would die. Well, it killed about half of the plant. So I was like, well, there's some more. So I took some clippers over and kind of got down, took a knee, and started clipping away. And then before I know it, I had like 3 nail me in my shin. And then I was like, what? I'm thinking I'm leaning against something. No, there's like just bees straight attacking me. I'm like, oh, all right. So kind of reversed my approach there a little bit, and then got to spray them and felt better.
Were you near like a nest? Like, what was it?
Yeah, the bottom of the tree has some dead bark, and they must have had a nest up and under there, and had to kind of go after it. So I sprayed them, and they're all mad. This is going to be a long episode, just creeping around me. It's starting to fly right now, so
you getting a little antsy?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we like to kind of preview the upcoming year, because this is the time of year when, a lot of companies are bringing their new gear to market. A lot of stores are restocking their supplies and things like that. And I mean, let's be honest, in the summer, what else is there to do than buy gear? It's kind of one of those things where, the whole gear acquisition syndrome kind of really sets in the summertime. And, we're no different. We like to look at what's coming out, and, some of the things that catch our eye, because everything, it's just funny how it works, because depending on the type of hunting you do will probably lead you to focus more on the type of products that, are used for that kind of scenario. So you're more in tune, as those products that might support what you're doing. When, if your hunting situation changes, or you get a new spot to hunt, or something like that, you might start looking at other things that you might need, and realize that there's other products that may be a year or 2 old or whatever, but they're new to you because, hey, I don't hunt fields. I hunt out of my boat 90% of the time. Now I got a field to hunt, and I'm like, oh, layout blinds and all of these other things that are coming to market that you didn't know were around. So when I say new products, I also mean, sometimes there's going to be products that we bring up that we just weren't really aware that we're out yet, or hadn't really got much exposure to, and now we have, and, we're excited about it. So kind of covering it from all angles, I think, is probably the best way to put it. And what do you want to start with, man? You got a particular type of gear you want to cover first?
Well, I think I want to start with actually asking our listeners a question, and they can either email us or call into our number. But we have acquired a pontoon boat that I think we're going to try and get ready for some diver action. And if you have done that and built your own blind out of a on a pontoon, which I think could be super fun, could probably get really expensive too. So if you've done any kind of do-it-yourself projects on a pontoon boat, shoot me a message, maybe some pictures, then the whole trying to figure out a motor and stuff like that. So it's just the boat. We got to figure the rest out. But there's one around here that's always out on Conneaut Lake and just looks like a floating island. And I think that would be a ton of fun, super safe and, can just BS with your buddies, just a big old floating blind. So,
yeah. And I mean, you could really set that up to hunt, have a lot of people sitting in it. And I think a cool way to do it would be, how a lot of larger blinds have kind of like a covering over the shooting hole that you push down out of the way when you shoot.
Right.
I think that'd be a really cool way to do it because you guys could completely encapsulate yourself in cover so that any birds that would circle overhead or anything wouldn't be able to see in. And then you could even hunt out both sides of the boat. So you could set up a massive spread. So anything that would circle around or whatever, you guys could really get some good coverage on. So I think that'd be cool. I'm interested to see if others have done that.
Yeah. And speaking of a blind, would you try, my dad can weld. So welding, is going to be very useful, I think. But I'm thinking more of I want to say an A-frame with a cover and then holes to shoot out of. But then it comes to the point, if you have that all brushed up, how are you going to drive that? Do you have the steering column all the way up front of the boat? How, you know what I mean? It just seems like it would be, you could get in some hairy situations trying to figure all that out. So,
yeah, I think you could probably, it takes some designing, but maybe you could do kind of like an accordion style. You build walls around the outside and then maybe the blind kind of lays open and you can lift it up. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Well, because pontoon boats kind of have those awnings on them already. So if you could, have something like that brushed in and then have something that you could raise up from the sides to cover. Yeah, I don't know. That would take some thought, I think.
Keep it down where you're going out. But those awnings are so weak anyways. Usually the ones, on the boats that you rent, I don't have a pontoon boat, but the ones that we'll rent every summer, for a day or 2 days. And it gets windy and you think those things are going to snap over on top of you. So we'll have to, reinforce it and try and figure out some different options there. But I don't know if it's good to have a big square out there or, more of an A-frame type deal. And then you could throw some trees up, some big limbs or whatever. There's a lot of options. So yeah, I'm interested to see if people have done it and what they would do different.
Yeah, have no doubt that there are definitely people out there that have done it. So hopefully we'll get some feedback on that.
So I guess start with some blinds.
You want to start with blinds, huh? Okay. Let's see here. I know you recently posted a post in the listeners group about the one of the Alps blinds, I believe, that you saw on the grind waterfowl.
I did.
Talk a little bit about that guy.
So it's a layout blind, and the seat is elevated. It doesn't seem like there's a bottom to it. But the thing that I really like, and I think that Foil has actually had a blind like this a while ago, but it just really, it lays out. There's no distinct edges on it, and it falls to where it blends in with the ground, nice and gradual, and just getting rid of those shadows, especially early season here. If you get in a cut field, and I know a lot of other places too, you're always worried about the shadows, but that's something that we're always just trying to figure out. And I don't know. It just seems like if it's that low, but the thing is, it's not that low, but the gradual decrease on the sides, you have twice as much to brush in, which I'm not, yeah. I hate brushing, but I'm not worried about that. That's fine. That's part of it. But getting rid of those shadows would be awesome. And then being able to blend those together, one or two decoys right around it. And you're just right in with the rest of the ground.
Yeah. I don't think this is necessarily a new technology. As you mentioned, this has been around. I think Banded, I want to say, had a blind like this that had the false kind of sides on it. I want to say they even had like a two-seater, like a side-by-side. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a critical piece. And I mean, I think historically how we've tried to deal with stuff like this is, it's always good to have a couple silhouette decoys, even if you're not running silhouette spreads. You can actually tuck those in the brush straps on your blinds, and that having them around you helps to eliminate, some of your profile as well. And, as I was kind of researching for this episode, I think what surprised me most about what you're seeing come to market is a lot more A-frame style blinds, panel blinds, things of that nature, that mobile sit up hunter style, we talked about this a few episodes back as to why the A-frame style blinds are so popular. But, you've got Dakota with their X blind offering now. You've obviously got the Avian, you've got others. But you're also seeing when it comes to the panel style, obviously Tangle Free was kind of the first ones to sort of do the full panel style that I'm aware of, at least. And then kind of the Fast Strike blinds are sort of built off of a similar premise, but you got to brush them off of the base. But now you've got Avery has got a panel blind that they're bringing out to market. Heavy Hauler's got the Heavy Hauler Hub, which is similar to the panel style stuff. So I think it's cool, and it's one of those things, like we've said, no matter what company you prefer or what price point you're shopping at or whatever, someone brings something to market and it benefits everybody. So, like for example, the Tangle Free panel blinds, they come to market with those, and those are priced around $300, I think, like per set. And now you've got the Avery option, which is $280, and the Heavy Hauler, which is $170. So you're already seeing the price points, people jockeying for position and offering and all that kind of stuff, which, just brings more opportunity to everybody at every level. So
what's a Dakota at? It's pretty expensive, isn't it? Or is it even out yet?
Yeah. No, well, I don't know that. What I've got here written down for that price is $680. But this style seems to be a little bit different in the sense that it's got like a dog entrance hole in it and a few other features that they've added to it. So,
well, on top of that too, that's an expandable A-frame, and you're getting both sides, where like the Tangle Free for $299 is just one side of the blind. So really, you're paying $600.
This is more of a direct competition to the Avian X A-frame style. It's not, so if you're hunting out in a field with the Tangle Free blinds, you're paying the same amount to have it on both sides of you. Where that shines is if you're hunting against a riverbank or something like that, where you could get away with just having one.
Right. Just wanted to point that part out.
Yeah, no, definitely. They're not apples to apples competition in that sense, but they are similar concepts in the sense that they're not layout. They're designed to let you sit upright and still kind of, hunt in fields and all that kind of stuff. So
I think we both have really just done do-it-yourself A-frames.
Correct. Yeah. And I think part of that is because I don't have to pack them up and move them quite as much. If I was truly if I was going in big fields and, moving around a lot, I mean, the Tangle Free panel blinds, I could see being the ticket. And I don't know, I know Tangle Free runs, like they were running a 25% off sale this past weekend. I don't know if that applies to the Tangle Free, to the panel blinds or not, but
yeah, it does.
If they are, I mean, that's a pretty significant savings. That's a nice deal right there. So, and again, it's all relative, man. It's like, I've paid $300 for a layout blind that I've trashed in 2 years. I mean, some things just don't hold up, and this is a fairly new product. I have yet to see anybody really have anything negative to say about them, but if it's something that holds up and you can use in like almost every situation and you can get lots of dudes in there, I think that's money well spent, if you're not looking to do the DIY, which again, is completely doable as well, particularly with the A-frame style. I mean, they've been doing it for, many, many years. So again, it's a different tool. It's for those that can deploy it in their situation. And I'm glad to see that there's other companies trying to, come to that space and innovate and, drive prices to be competitive and, develop new techniques that hopefully they'll all learn from.
I think I'm really getting close to making that step over to the A-frame, and for a couple reasons. One, we seem to be hunting with a few older gentlemen every year, and you can see them just struggle. They're the last ones up to shoot, and just not as comfortable laying out as what the younger guys are. That I want to get my father-in-law out, and if with him starting to work with his dog, I think it'd just be easier. And then just, seeing like on the grind, like they put, they're putting these A-frames right out in the middle of fields. And, it's that whole confidence thing about the same with silos, the silhouette decoys. You just have to be confident in what you're doing and, make sure you have a good hide. But I think that there's no reason not to use them, and you can just sit there. It's a better atmosphere overall. And I think that's why a lot of people were going to that. So,
well, particularly too for your situation. I mean, you're gonna have some youngins with you in the field here soon.
Yep.
And it's a lot easier to keep them entertained between flights if they can, stand up and kind of move around a little bit and that kind of stuff.
Or take a nap, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, but they're not laying in some small confined space where you're trying to keep them engaged, which is tough. So
right.
I think there's a lot of benefit to them, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot more companies put the money into researching and bringing them to market. So
yeah, and I don't think we didn't talk about the youth field day that we had today, or that we didn't have. I think that was after the one episode, and then we had Ira on. But our youth field day got rained out, and they called it before it even started, and it was really a bummer because we had to turn away 20-some kids, 20-some cars. So I don't know how many kids there were, but one of the guys brought an A-frame down, a tangle free, and he got it on one of their sales, and they're nice, And so anyway, back to the field day. They did a vote, and the field day, it consists of waterfowl stuff and trapping and archery and muzzleloader shooting. So the trapping guys didn't want to do it. The muzzleloader guys said that, there's no point in it because their guns won't fire, which is fine. But all the Delta people were standing there, voting to keep it going. And so we ended up running a dog a little bit, and a couple kids were sitting there watching us while we were doing that. But yeah, one of the guys brought an A-frame down, and, it seemed stable. It seemed really, really well built. And, I don't know, man. I think it's time to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'd like to pick up a couple sets. I like it because I feel like I could, again, I haven't had hands on with it yet, quite like you have, but I feel like I could just sort of strap it on my back and pack it in.
Yep.
And that's huge if you're hunting public ground or something like that, or, a field where you can't drive in and you got to walk. A couple panels with, you get 2 or 3 guys, strap a set or 2 on your back, couple silhouette bags full of, silos, and you're hiking in. I mean, you can get it done just like that. And the money that you're going to save on the full body decoys, can go into your hide, and, you're going to be in good shape. So definitely, I'm excited about what's happening in the blind market. And to that end, if you're a layout hunter and that's what you like to do, there's a lot of layouts still coming to market as well. So it's not like they're giving up on that portion of the market as well. So,
see, I think one area where that AWPs wouldn't be good is in a cut cornfield. Not saying it wouldn't be good, but I don't think it's necessary, just because you have all the corn stalks and stuff to blend in against, and really, it just seems like you couldn't even lay it out in between the rows. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant there, and would still like to. I don't know if I would change to an A-frame in a cut cornfield. I think the layout's still the way to go. But everything, it's funny to see, everything is kind of going the packable route. And I don't know if it's just a lot more people walking into places that they've never walked into before, or they're not allowed to drive into places. But from the blinds to decoys to everything, it really seems to have a wave of 1 or 2 trips from the truck and you're set up.
Well, I think too, people are, they're realizing that it doesn't matter if you have a trailer or if you just hunt out of the back of your like SUV or whatever you do, space is always going to be a premium, because if you have a trailer, you're going to find stuff to fill it with, right? And, layout blinds and blinds particular can be one of the big bears that you got to deal with. And, you see guys like what Lucky Duck's got going on with their, with their gear down, which is basically like a, it's like a backpack. It's basically a field blind that is packable. So it folds out of like a backpack form factor. And then basically you've just got like a blanket that you can brush in and cover with. So you could pretty much roll that up, fold the chair up, put it on your back, and it's like a backpack kind of getting in and out. And it's $100. I mean, it's like, you don't have to break your wallet to get, something that's going to work for you, that's going to keep you comfortable and keep you up off the ground. But you don't have to, break your back finding places to put it and hiking it in. So, there's a fit for everybody's style out there. But I do agree with you. And I think you see that in a lot of things in our society today. Smaller, lighter, packable is kind of the way that things are trending.
Yeah, kind of the work smarter, not harder deal. How do you feel about the spider containment in a blind like that?
The spider containment?
As far as, if there's a spider in your layout because you're checking it 3 times, but if you're laying on the ground with a blanket over you, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so here's the thing with spiders, man. They don't bother me as much when I'm in the field hunting, because that's where spiders belong. So like, I don't have as big of an issue with it. I take issue with it when they're in my house or like they're in my car or something, something that's my space. When I'm in their space, it's all good. I mean, I don't love them. It's not like I want them crawling on me, but I deal with it much, much better than I do, So, I mean, look, you're hunting early season, September, for example, you're laying in a field, dude, you're going to have spiders on you.
Yep.
It's just, there's no way around it. But I don't freak out quite as bad as I do if I saw that same nasty spider in my house.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This wasp is just working me right now.
Just doing backstrokes in your dome right now.
You're just doing laps.
All right. Well, let's shift gears off a blind. What do you want to hit next?
You were mentioning some bags. I know Lifetime came out with a new bag. I think that's their kind of maiden voyage into that section. But you can get quite a bit of stuff in there. It seems like a pretty good camera bag. And then what other bags did you have lined up there?
Let me try to find my list here. So I know, the Lifetime bag is cool because it's like your traditional form factor layout blind bag, but it's got backpack straps on it, so you can pack it in like that, which I love because a lot of times when I'm hunting in a canoe or something like that, I put my most valuable gear in water, like my camera and stuff, in water tight bags, and then I put it in my pack, and I wear it so that if something happens, that gear is with me all the time. So, and it's also, it gets tight in the canoe. So whatever I can save on floor space, I will. And I can't do that with a bag that's just got a sling strap, because it's just, you're trying to manage the motor or you're rowing or whatever, and it's just going to be in the way on one side or another. So I really like the backpack style. But you're seeing other companies get into more creative styles, like the Tangle Free Go-To was the one that kind of caught a lot of attention. It's coming out in, in Optifade, and it's more of like it looks like more of like a sling style, tactical bag, I think, to me. But, it's got like enough room where you can put your mojos in it, your teal spinners and things like that. It sort of secures to your body so that it's, just doesn't dig into your shoulder. It's got more connection points and things. So, they're looking for ways to innovate. And I think, I've used the Sitka, full choke for several years, and I love that bag. But I think you saw Sitka do something similar with their, what is it, their sling?
Yep, their sling
pack, whatever it's called. Avery's got a messenger style bag as well. But then you kind of flip to the other side of that, and you've got, like what Rig'em Right offers in their Refuge Runner. These things are massive. You could put like 24 floaters in it. You can put your gun on the side pocket. You could put like a spinner on another side pocket. I mean, it can hold tons of stuff. And I mean, depending on your style and where you're hunting, again, it might, either one could be exactly what you need, but it's cool to see companies having that, forethought to just try to fit different niches, because as people know in business, the more products you bring to market, the more expensive it is and the more cash outlay you got to put. So it's a big risk for companies to do it. So as hunters, I think it's something that we need to appreciate, even if it's not, a bag that fits your particular style. They're putting money into products that fit a niche like this. The Refuge Runner, probably not the type of bag I would need, but they're thinking specifically for that public land guy that has to pack it in and all he can take is what's on his back, So they're trying to accommodate niches of the market, which I think is really cool. And, hopefully a lot of guys are benefiting from that forethought on their part. Yeah.
I've been talking about that Refuge Runner for a couple years, I think. And I still haven't picked one up, but there's some scenarios that it would really be great. We'll push a canoe sometimes, like either carry or, rig up some kind of wheel system, but we'll go in, 3/4 of a mile to 1.25 miles is about the max that we push a canoe in. But to have that stuff on your back instead of in the canoe and adding weight to that, and then the little wheel system that you set up, that's another thing. Someone needs to really invent a solid canoe hauler that can go over some junk. I think that would, I don't know how many people would be interested in something like that, but I know there would be some, me being one of them. But yeah, I the way you can put your gun in there and your decoys instead of having that weight in a canoe, I really, really like that idea. And I don't know why I haven't got one yet.
Yeah, again, I asked you, I didn't know if Rig'em Right had been full on with the OptiFade camo pattern. I feel like they had been, but again, I've been happy with my packs, so I haven't really looked at them that closely, kind of like I was talking about in the beginning. But man, it seems like every time I turn around, I see Rig'em Right gear in OptiFade pattern, which I love. I'm a big fan of. So I'm noticing their products more and more. So, I think that Refuge Runner though, I mean, for the size of that bag, right? And what you can put in there for $120, that's a steal, man. I mean, think about the size of layout blinds that you're buying and, what they cost. I mean, that's a great value for someone who's got to pack in a couple dozen decoys and have all their gear on their back. I mean,
yeah, and it looks solid. Yeah, it looks solid. And going back, I know that when everyone started leaking the Rig'em Right bags and OptiFade, all the Tangle Free guys are like, we're making comments like, you guys act like there haven't been OptiFade bags out, and so I think it is fairly new to Rig'em Right. I don't know if they've had some products, but I think their blind bags definitely are newer on that end.
Yeah, I don't know. One other thing I'll add to it's not really a bag, but it kind of falls into that cabinet, is the Sitka Hudson muff that's coming out. This is one that I'm particularly excited about because I hate wearing gloves in the blind, and I normally wear a muff of some type. And I've been using this like Under Armour one that I've had for several years that I got at like a Cabela's Bargain Cave or whatever. And it's just both straps that connect to it are like cut and they're just hanging by a thread, to the point where I really couldn't even wear it. I just kind of had to put my hands in it and then just sort of chuck it when birds were coming in. So I'm definitely looking to replace that. And the fact that this muff is coming out now is really well timed for me. So I suspect that I will definitely have that in the blind with me this fall.
I talk to a few guys about this all the time, but I hate wearing gloves. But lately, if it gets super cold, I wear the Delta Deke or the Deke's glove, the Sitka Deke glove, and just on my left hand. and the other one for calling and stuff, I'll tuck it up into the whatever jacket I'm wearing, usually the Hudson or the whatever else. But that's kind of how I roll. But the muff would be nice. I don't think that I would use it enough to do that, just because the way I've been rolling seems to be working out all right. But yeah, that's definitely a good one for sure. And that's, well, talking about Sitka, and we talked about it with Ryan when he was on, but I think something that is really cool is a Gore-Tex stretch, which I guess we'll see how well it works when it's getting rained on. I'm sure they wouldn't put it out if it didn't work, but to have a waterproof layer that is flexible is, I think it's a game changer. Especially, some of the Sitka cut is more athletic in most of their jackets. So if you have some broader shoulders, then, you might get tightened down when you're pulling your gun up or swinging or something like that. So to have a stretch factor in that it's just another comfort level. It's just another kudos to them, because it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I have to say, obviously, our we're fans of Sitka gear. That's no secret. But besides that point, like to a larger point, I buy my work pants, my dress pants and stuff with like the stretchy flex material in the waistband. Mm-hmm. That is so important for me. I mean, I'm 6'4", 220 pounds. I got really broad shoulders. Like, if I can get gear that will stretch a little bit, I'm so much more comfortable. So the fact that Sitka is bringing this technology to the hunting side of things is super exciting for me. I can tell you, I don't really want to get into the waiter discussion here. We've hashed that out. But one of the things that they're bringing that I'm super pumped about for this year is the Sitka Hudson bibs. I love my Sitka jacket. The bibs, I've held off on buying a pair of bibs for a long time. But the more I look at the Sitka Hudson bibs, they might be the ticket for me. That stretch material is just so important, yeah, I'm excited to see how people feel about it when it hits the market, and it's definitely a piece of gear that I'm gonna have my eye on.
I have my eye on this wasp that just is coming at me. But yeah, for a guy like me too, depending on how much I eat and vary about 5 pounds, any kind of stretch like that is welcomed, especially in the waist region. But yeah, they're definitely on the ball with all that. And just even that, when you get bibs on, and this is going back even to like archery and growing up with not great stuff, but I always enjoy bibs, and I actually got made fun of a lot for wearing bibs, but I just like that warmth on my lower back, or if you bend over, you're not, untucking your shirt and getting that cold wind going up on your lower back. So I've always wore bibs, but some of those are, when you're trying to climb or really walk, like they're restricting, almost like neoprene waders. And that's just, there's too much technology out there now to struggle. It's already.
And to that end, forever, growing up as a Pennsylvania whitetail hunter, even till, right now, the only bibs that I own are Carhartt. And that's what I wear when I'm field hunting right now. And they're warm enough for sure. But when you get the quilt lining in them, I mean, they get bulky. They definitely get wet. They do the job, but there's a better way. Mm-hmm. And, I love my Carhartts. I'll always wear them. They're awesome for a lot of applications, but for me, for laying in a field blind or something like that, I would much rather have a more form-fitting bib, because again, I'm taller. I got a long torso. I definitely don't want, snow and stuff going down my butt crack. So I need that coverage all the way, and something that fits more like a pant, but has all the coverage is money, and not like the big and the bulk of a traditional bib. So, if you're going out to the deer stand to sit and not moving around, that's one thing. But, as we know, you're going to be chasing cripples and running around doing things. And, that being able to have that mobility is great.
Yep.
So
even setting up decoys and
definitely
not sweating so much doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
So what about, I guess we can go on. You want to talk about some of the new decoys coming out?
Yeah, let's do that. We know that, this year, as much as I can remember, at least on the part of Avery, they put a lot of hype into their new decoys that they're bringing out. And for pretty much everything I've seen, again, I don't know anybody that's actually like got a ton of hands-on experience on them, but I felt like that was a little bit of an underwhelming delivery. I mean, that's just me gauging response on social media. So not scientifically or based at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in our Facebook group that someone posted up and they just weren't impressed. There's no way around it, And seeing, I guess you'll see with the. I did see one. I don't know if it was Rogers or someone else, but they did a paint test with them. And I mean, they rubbed them together for like an hour. It seemed like it was all like fast forwarded, like time lapse. But this guy just rubbed them together forever, and there was no issue whatsoever. So, maybe they did do a lot of technology with the paint and made a better decoy in that regard. So, I don't know. I think, once people start using them day in and day out, you'll get a better feel for it. But like you said, there was the major reaction online on social media wasn't as big as what you thought it would be.
Yeah, and I think particularly because the decoy market seems to be one of the most aggressive as far as development and innovation, in my opinion, because there's just so many players at the table, and you got to bring it, right? And you got to really scratch and fight to sort of maintain your place in the market. And one of the cooler things that I think that has come to market in the recent years has been the packable mallard floaters from Dakota. Mm-hmm. I think, Dakota has been regarded as one of the top decoys as far as, particularly for mallards. You see people talk a lot about them. And again, this gets to our, ability to get the same amount of gear in a smaller space and easier, carriage. Being able to pack your decoys down to a smaller profile is awesome. I mean, that's just a huge development. And, you're not going to be able to do that if they didn't develop these particular types of plastic that allow you to do that. So there's a lot of different layers of innovation that take place to get to that end product of a mallard that you could stick in your pack that's smaller in profile. All of that is just really cool innovation. And I have no doubt that that's going to challenge other companies to come up with similar technologies if they haven't already.
Yeah. And again, you kind of talked to it before, but it hits a certain niche, and, the guys that fill up their boats and go, like they're probably not going to use them, but the guys walking in that need to stuff them in a bag and get going, then, that's right up your alley. So it all depends, but definitely, cool technology, and just thinking about what things used to be, and, just it's pretty incredible to see it all. But another product, Lucky came out with the HDI, which is, they're spinning wing decoys that are waterproof. So I hunted mine last year through some rain, not the HDI, but just the regular one. I had zero issues with the battery or anything else in some rainstorms. But, these are totally dunkable. You don't, you see them throwing them under streams or dropping them, just to show what they can do. And they keep going. So really cool technology, and got that figured out, and, leading the pack there.
Yeah, I think this one's another big one for me, because I've definitely been guilty of this. I will go out, grab my spinner, throw it over my shoulder, forget that the pole that it's on is filled with water, and that water just goes right over my shoulder down into the decoy. And, if you hunt any kind of brackish water or anything like that, it will just tear up some electronics. And I've actually, had decoys fail on me because of that. I don't blame the manufacturer for that, because that's not what they're designed to do. This one is designed to do that. So that just takes the idiot factor that I have off the table, which is really nice. And I think it just makes sense. Again, when you're dealing with products that you're going to expose to water in harsh conditions, I love the fact that they're thinking, what's going to save people time, money, and give them peace of mind that their gear is going to, stay solid for them. And it's stuff like this that's going to do that. So very, very good stuff. And, the other thing I'll say about decoys is maybe I'm just paying more attention now, but it just seems like the whole silhouette game is starting to kick up a little bit, and a lot more products are coming out. People are using them more. they're hitting different species, and it's not just, Canada geese that you can buy silhouettes for anymore and all that kind of stuff. So that's another area that I'm really seeing a lot of innovation and kind of companies pushing the envelope there.
Yeah, and definitely like even, Big Owls, we've used those for a while, and, White Rock and, Dive Bomb is doing big things, and it's just like going back to the packable game. I know those wind socks from White Rock, I think they're like 5 or 10 dozen, weigh like 5 pounds, something like that, something ridiculous. So, I mean, you can have your full spread. You can have your full spread in the back of a car in one bag, take it out, and put it on your shoulder and carry it out, and boom, you get one of the lighter blinds and just get going, and you're set up in no time. And absolutely one trip, decoys in one arm, your blind in your back, and your gun in the other hand or over your shoulder, and you're in there. And it's very simple. It's just really cool to see on this end, instead of needing a trailer and taking out so many full bodies that weigh a ton. And now it's just you're in the chips. You're in the chips, very lightweight.
If you're a new hunter that's coming into this waterfowling deal, and you're looking at just the cost of what everything runs you and how expensive it is, we all know, and decoys, my goodness, they've, even from when I've got, over the last maybe 6 or 7 years, I'd say, the cost of decoys seem to be coming, more and more each year. If you're a new guy, why would you not entertain the silhouette game if you're hunting fields and things like that? To get started, because even if we all know you can hunt over them exclusively and be successful, but even as you get into the sport and you put more resources towards it, and you decide to build out a full body spread or whatever you decide to do, those silhouettes are still going to be valuable fillers and things like that. So it's not like they go out of style, right? I mean, they've been around a long time, and you can see they're making a resurgence again. It's something that you'll always have use for. So I think, starting that way is a really good way to go. And I mean, it's never been easier. There's more product out there available today than there's ever been for you to choose from. So, and it's definitely a good way. And it's easier,
like you said, it's easier on your wallet, and it'll get you numbers quicker than a full body game. So there's no reason not to try it, especially, newer guys, or if you need to increase by 5 or 10 dozen, then I think that's your way to go financially, for sure.
Yep, I would agree. All right, what do you want to hit next?
The one that I really like, and I use it for work and hunting, and it's not new by any means, but still just the Onyx maps. Yeah. I think if you don't have it, I think it's something that you need to acquire. We no longer have our discount code, but there are discount codes available for people that want to buy a year membership and whatnot. But it is a great tool, especially if you need new fields or, want to check out any kind of water systems and whatnot. It's top of the line. It's easy to use. Set all your markers. You know exactly where you're going in the dark. I've seen guys that, have avoided boating accidents because they'll do a scouting trip and map it out, and then when they're going in the dark, they know where the sandbars are and places to avoid, and it's just super helpful.
Yeah, and I would even go a little bit further to say that we use Onyx, we like it. Again, not affiliated with them in any way, but there are a lot of other apps out there as well that do similar and have different features. What I would say is, if you're not utilizing one of those, you are missing the boat a little bit, particularly if you're actually out looking for new places to hunt regularly. I could get it if you're set in your spots and you've hunted the same spots for a long time and all that kind of stuff. But for those guys that are out there trying to hustle and find a spot or two, or find a new public area that might be able to help them out, whatever, this is a incredibly valuable resource, and I really can't recommend it any higher than I did have. So again, if you haven't utilized that yet, definitely look into it.
And just having the landowner information too. You find birds and boom, you can click on it, find the landowner's name, go up, talk to them. It's a lot quicker than going through a plat book or anything else. It's just one click. And I know there are other apps that will give you like 5 or 10 free landowners a year or so, or whatever it is. But to have all that information right there, no matter where you're at, it's pretty nice. It's real nice.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you say we talk a little bit about shotguns?
There's one big one that came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many new ones did come out this year?
So again, I haven't been in the market for a shotgun in a while, but it feels like I'm seeing certain companies bringing things to market regularly. One of them is Franke. It seems like every time I turn around, it seems like they've got a new type of gun coming out. But I think the one that caught our attention most is the Beretta A400 Plus, Extreme Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a reboot of their A400 that's really popular, obviously. And what I love about this gun is that it comes standard with a larger charging handle on the bolt. And that to me is so big because, it's one of those things where every time I shoot my A300, which I love that gun, I think to myself, man, it'd be nice to have a bigger charger handle. So then I go online and I look and I see how much they cost. And I'm like, man, it would be that nice. I can live without it.
What do they run?
It's been a while, but I want to say they're like $50 or more. Let me look it up here. And while we're talking, I'll get you.
I think one of their nicest things too is just their the sealant that comes on a gun, their anti-rust system. I forget what it is. H2O something, or I don't know, something dealing with water, but just the anti-rust that they have on there is pretty legit, because that's one thing you don't want to deal with. That's something that I always deal with. And I said I wouldn't get another black gun, and I got a black A300 just because the price was right. And I would like to get Cerakote or something on there to protect it, but I haven't done it yet. So they range in price here from like $25 to $50, but at $25, it's essentially what you got on your gun anyway. Mm-hmm.
So you're probably looking at like a minimum of 50 to really get into something that would be worth your while to add on. I don't know, man. I mean, it's not like I'm against spending money on gear, because Lord knows I do it. But when I'm looking at exactly what that does for me, it's just one of the things. It's a nice to have. It's not a must.
Right.
And I think it's nice to have. And, but I do see a lot of different, companies, it seems like bringing, shotguns to the market. And I mean, again, that's a really, really competitive space, but it looks like, Remington's recently put out a different offering in their V3 Field Sport. I don't know if that's a new for this year, but it's new to me. I haven't noticed it before. Browning's got a different model of their A5, stuff like that. So, if you're in the market for a shotgun, the Benelli's Super Black Eagle 3 is out. You get left-handed models of that now, all that kind of stuff. There's lots of good options out there for you, but being a guy that, I like Beretta shotguns, that one that they've got, the new A400 revamp is pretty nice looking for me. There's
a guy I work with that he grew up in, I think he grew up in Maryland or Virginia, but he hunted down there in Chesapeake all the time. And, back, and he would just talk about the days they would use lead and all that and just really pound on them. And he's been looking for that, the Browning 10 gauge, the light, for like, it was like a year and a half. And he found a couple used ones, and he's like, I really don't want a used one. And then I just saw something, it was like 2.5 weeks ago, I saw something that reminded me to check, and I found one out in like Missouri or somewhere. And I called him up and I sent him the link. He had it delivered to Virginia, so he just picked it up. And I think the A300's like 7 pounds, and I think this Browning is, this 10 gauge light is maybe 9 or 10, but not a lot heavier. And he's just ready to go goose hunting. So he's, super excited. He loves just crushing the birds, but he might be the only one I know that will be using a 10 gauge. A lot of guys just feel comfortable with the 12 and even have been going down to, the 20 and 16 and playing that game. So he's going the other way, and they're out there. I think that was like an $1,800 gun too. So
yeah, I don't see myself going in that direction.
No, me neither.
I don't want my shoulder getting thumped like that.
No. But yeah, so like after a year and a half. So, but the thing is, no one's getting rid of them, so they must be pretty good.
Yeah.
As far as
I'm not in a position to argue that. I just seems to me it's like it's overkill for what I need.
Yep.
I should say.
Especially 10 gauge, if you go up to 3.5, like he's just talking about crushing birds. He wants me to shoot the first goose with it. He's like, I'm going to let you shoot it. We've been looking for it for so long. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. But anyway,
that's a lot.
You're getting hefty.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right. So what else do you want to cover here, Daniel?
I don't know, man. A lot of good products, a lot of, I'd say it all the time, but there's so many good people in the industry, and to see them work hard and unveil all these products, it's really cool. It's really cool to see them succeed and bring new things to the market. So, even the product development to the guys doing the video for it and all that. So it's neat to talk to all these guys and see it come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, it's one of those things where as a hunter, I know at least in my years that I've, spent pursuing waterfowl, it seems like the rate at which new products are coming to market and innovation is happening is much, much faster than it was even, just a handful of years ago when I was getting kind of started into, waterfowl hunting. And again, I think that's a tribute to companies, listening to hunter feedback and the ability to connect with hunters on social media directly and get that sort of feedback and really take it to heart and kind of innovate for what, things that we've seen. And you're seeing other companies that, maybe had not necessarily focused on waterfowl or hunting in general in the past, kind of dip their toe in that water and sort of do that. As I'm leafing through magazines and stuff, I'm seeing, pictures of like Old Town kayaks in these magazines, being used for waterfowl applications and things like that. I feel like, at least for me, the idea of hunting ducks from a kayak is a fairly new thing. I mean, new in the last 10 years or something, but maybe people were doing it before then, but it certainly wasn't on my radar prior.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. I think definitely using them to not just to get to the spot, but to hunt out of, actually brushing them in. It's definitely seems like the last few years it's becoming very popular. And like you said, Old Town, they're about to unveil a new topwater kayak, and another one to think about is
topwater kayak as opposed to like below water kayak.
Yeah, just the open top. More.
Oh, like a sit on top guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Topwater. So I think that's what it's called, topwater something. But that, and also, a lot of, I can't get some of those images out of my mind off of gunner kennels, but some of those guys that were on hunts and unfortunately got into accidents and had their dogs in the gunner kennels. Like, if you haven't checked those out, go to their website and at least check out their pictures. Like, some of these cars are mangled or flipped on their side, and they have the entire story there. The dog might be a little rattled up, but gets out of the kennel, is good to go. There's glass shattered everywhere else. Didn't get in the kennel, didn't hurt the dog. A lot of guys hunt with dogs, so if you do a lot of traveling, something to look into for sure.
Speaking of which, and you've got a new Southern Oak Kennels puppy amongst your family there now.
Yep.
Give us a little update on the training progress with that pup, and is there any, training equipment or dog related gear that you, or your father-in-law have kind of got turned on to now that you're full on in the training game?
Yeah. I think he's using a lot of the Doken retrieving, like retriever ducks and stuff like that. And and he just got a new, I forget, I can look it up real quick, but I was texting Barton yesterday about what whistle he uses. Hang on, because the one that Thad bought was it was too loud. He really didn't like it, and he said the Acme 211.5 is what Barton recommends. So he got on Amazon and ordered that. So he's getting that. He's like, yeah, this one's just super loud. I don't really like it. But as far as updates, he's been taking her to the lake and just playing around in the water a little bit, threw a few out over her head. He really didn't mean to, but she went and got him. No trouble. She's come to place and extended stays. She'll sit and stay, and he'll walk all the way to the other end of the field. And then he'll call her. She'll come right to his side. And I think she's like 13 weeks maybe. When they're walking, when he blows a whistle or just whistles, she stops, sits, looks at him. Like it's pretty incredible. So definitely follow in the Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy training module there. And he's retired, has a lot of time, and he thinks he might be getting ahead of himself, like trying to push too far for her still being a puppy. So I think he realized that, and you have good days and bad days, and he's just kind of going with what, how well she responds. So she's doing really well. He's loving it, and it's a good situation. So I'm excited to see her, and not this season. She won't be out this season, but next year she should be just a machine.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've seen a lot of guys in the listeners group getting on the Southern Oak Kennels train and putting in their deposits for their puppies and stuff. So I suspect we're going to see a lot more, here local to the HP crew with dogs, from Southern Oak Kennels.
Yeah, man.
Getting into it. So
it's incredible. Incredible dogs.
Yep.
He does a great job down there. So,
and I'm sitting here looking at our Facebook group right now. Looks like we're going to go over 4,000 members this week. So, if you're not in yet, head over there, request access. We'll get you in, and you can enjoy a lot of the conversation we got going on in there, and see a lot of these Southern Oak Kennel puppies. And
I'll be giving away that Hudson before this is out on Monday.
Correct.
Because we hit 350 reviews on iTunes. I actually checked this morning; it was over 360. So,
yep.
I gotta formulate that sheet, and anyone that sent a screenshot is in that drawing. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep. And we've also got our 100th episode giveaway coming up, which is going to be pretty sweet.
Yep.
So definitely stay tuned for that. And what we're going to do there is still being finalized, but it's going to be pretty sweet for sure. We're at 362 reviews currently, Daniel.
Yep.
So appreciate everyone taking the time. If you haven't done so, you can head over to iTunes and give us a rating and review. We appreciate that. And it just helps other waterfowl hunters just like you find us easier on iTunes and stuff like that. So, all right, Dan, what else you got? Any other pieces of gear that you're particularly looking forward to this year? I know one thing that I'm looking forward to using more this year than I did last year. And it's not a new product, but I got kind of turned on to it mid-season last year, is I plan to use my Lifetime jerk rig a lot more this year, and also my Lifetime long lines, giving those a shot as opposed to the traditional long lines that I've been using, to see how those function and operate. So looking forward to getting those out in the water this year and seeing how they work.
Yep, Lifetime and 737 calls. We'll be repping those this year, and and ripping on them. And yeah, man, I'm just ready to start hunting. It's just, it's just, I'm enjoying soccer and stuff, but the mornings I need to get out. I need to get out in the field, and we're going to start cleaning up some duck holes here and go check out our blinds, our permanent blinds. So it's starting to roll around, man. It's getting real close. The Federal duck stamps are out for sale now, so go get those. It's getting close once those come on sale. So,
this is that sort of annual period where I, got to re-up my hunting licenses and all that kind of stuff, and just realize how expensive it is to buy, deer tags and archery tags and waterfowl stamps and all that kind of stuff. It's not a small it's a sizable chunk of dough that we put forward. And then if you're hunting out of state and stuff, it even gets more so. So it always just reminds me of how powerful a voice that the outdoor community has when we're talking about, public land use and all of the different, firearm related things that come out and all of that stuff. And, there's a lot of money that comes out of the hunter and outdoorsman's pocket that supplies a lot of industry and a lot of employment for people and a lot of that stuff. So, we need to just keep in mind that we can use that leverage for good. And, like what you see with what's going on with the public land discussions and stuff from the gentleman out of Utah, it's up to you to formulate your own opinion on where you stand with that and use that voice. So, I'm going to probably leave that right there, but just always bear in mind that, as an outdoor community, we have a voice and, together it's a strong one. So,
so stick together.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. You got anything else? You got your 7 one last things before we
7 one last things? No, but staying out of state, we have our lodge booked and our flights booked for Kansas. So
Correct.
That is going to be a great birthday present for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to do that, and need to start shopping for a travel case for my shotgun. So I don't own one that I can currently ship fly with. So what did you end up going with when you flew last year?
I had the Pelican. I'm not going to throw out a number because it would probably be the wrong one, but I can get it to you for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I got to check those out. And I don't know. I got my son home with me today. Maybe I'll run down to Cabela's and see what they got and
buddy,
let him take a look around. So
nice. Well, we're an hour 6 deep, and I have to go to work today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go ahead and close it out. All right, that's going to do it for episode 90 of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. We'd like to thank Lifetime Decoys, Gunner Kennels, Adrenaline, Camp Chef, Black Rifle Coffee Company, Southern Oak Kennels, Big Al Silhouette Decoys, and 737 Duck and Goose Calls. If you're new to the show, catch up on all the past episodes on iTunes, leave a 5-star rating and review while you're there, or you can head over to hpoutdoors.com and check out all the stuff we got going on there. Certainly appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Hang tight for next week with all new content. For Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.